Maya had always been a quite thoughtful girl. Her family had just moved to a new town, and this meant starting fresh to a new school. Sandale Primary School was a large and familiar to her. On her first morning, she stood outside the gate, feeling her heart pounding in her chest. She clenched her book tightly, trying to calm the butterflies in her stomach. As she walked into the school, she could feel all eyes on her, and the whispers started almost immediately. When she finally entered her new classroom, the teacher, Mrs. Rose, smiled warmly at her. "Class, I would like you to all meet Maya. She's new here, so let's be all welcoming and kind," Mrs. Rose said in a cheerful voice. Maya gave a small wave, barely lifting her hand. The room felt silent for a moment, and Maya felt her cheeks burning as she scanned the room, finding a place to sit. Finally, she spotted an empty desk in the middle of the room and quickly made her way there, trying to avoid the stares from her new classmates. As she sat down, Maya breathed in a sigh relief, hoping to blend into the background. But the relief didn't last long. She overheard a hushed voices. It was impossible not to notice that some of the students were already talking about her. Maya's heart sank. This was not the way she had hoped for the first day would go. All she wanted was to fit in, but it seems like she was already standing out for all the wrong reasons. As the day went on, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that everyone was staring at her. She tried to focus on her lessons, but it was hard to concentrate with the whispers behind her. Every time she turned around, the other students would quickly look away, pretending they weren't talking about her, but Maya could bear bits and pieces of their conversations. Lunchtime came, and Maya hoped things would get better. She made her way to the dining hall, hoping to find a quiet place to sit. But as she walked in, the noise and laughter seemed even louder. Everyone was sitting with their friends, talking and enjoying their meals. Maya stood awkwardly at the entrance, tray in her hand, looking for a spot to sit. She spotted a table with few empty seats and cautiously made her way over. Just as she was about to sit down, a girl with curly hair and a smug smile slid into the seat. "Sorry, it's taken," the girl said, not even looking at Maya. The rest of the table were already taken, and Maya felt her heart dropped. She quickly backed away, feeling like a fool. At the center of the noise and laughter was Sasha, a tall, confident girl who seemed to rule the school. Everyone in the dining hall gravitated towards her, eager for her attention. She was always surrounded by a group of royal friends who hung on her every word. Sasha was known for her sharp tongue and quick wit, and nobody dared to cross her. If you wanted to fit in at Sandalaya Primary, you had to get Sasha's approval. But Sasha wasn't easy to impress, and Maya, the quite new girl, was an easy target for her. From her table, Sasha glanced over Maya, who was still standing awkwardly in the dining hall. "Look at the new girl," Sasha said loudly enough for everyone to hear, her voice filled with mockery. "She looks lost, poor thing." The group around her burst into laughter, and Maya could feel their eyes on her. She quickly lowered her head, hoping to make herself invisible. She found a corner table far away from everyone else and sat down with her lunch. She poked at her food, but her appetite was gone. All she could think about was how she was going to survive for the rest of the day. From that moment on, it was clear that Sasha had decided Maya was her new target. Sasha's friends followed her lead, as they always did, and Maya found herself at the center of their cruel jokes and teasing. No matter where she went, it felt like Sasha and her group were always there, watching her and waiting for the perfect moment to mock her. The next few days were no better. Each time Maya tried to blend in, Sasha and her group found a way to single her out. In class, they passed notes about her, giggling behind her hands. During recesses, they made sure she felt unwelcome, standing in her way whenever she tries to join in any game. Maya quickly learned to keep her head down and avoid their attention as much as possible. But it didn't matter how hard she had tried to stay away from their way. They always find her there. One afternoon, during recess, Maya walked over to the swings, hoping to enjoy a quiet moment by herself. Just as she was about to sit down, Sasha and her group appeared out of nowhere. Sasha crossed her arms and blocked Maya's way. "Where do you think you're going?" Sasha asked, her voice dripping with Her friend stood behind her, smiling. "I just want to swing," Maya said quietly, trying not to sound afraid. Sasha raised an eyebrow and looked back at her friends before turning her gaze back to Maya. "Well, too bad. This is our spot. Go find somewhere else to play, loser." Maya stood there for a moment, unsure of what to do. She wanted to fight back, but the words couldn't come. Instead, she turned around and walked away, her heart heavy with frustration and sadness. She could hear the laughter behind her as she walked off, and took everything in her not to cry. Lunch had become Maya's least favorite part of the day. She hated walking into a crowded dining hall, knowing that she would have to face Sasha and her group again. Every day was the same. She would search for a place to sit, only to have Sasha and her friends take over the spot, forcing her to eat alone. One afternoon, Maya spotted a table near the window that seemed empty. She hurried over, eager to finally have a place to sit in peace. But as soon as she put her tray down, Sasha appeared out of nowhere, a cruel smile on her face. New girl? That seat is reserved for my new friend," Sasha said, motioning for one of her group members to sit down. Maya clenched her fists, trying to hold back her anger. "There are plenty of rooms," she said quietly, her voice shaking. Sasha leaned in closer, her eyes cold. "You don't belong here. Go eat somewhere else." Maya picked up her tray, her face flushed with embarrassment. She walked to the farthest corner of the dining hall, sitting down on an empty table by herself. She could hear Sasha and her friends laughing from across of the room. For the first time, Maya felt something shift inside her. She was tired of being the target, tired of feeling powerless. Something had to change. That night, Maya laid in her bed, staring at the ceiling. The words of Sasha and her friends echoed in her head, making it possible to sleep. No matter how hard she tried, Maya couldn't understand why Sasha was so cruel. She hadn't done anything to deserve the constant bullying. All she wanted was to fit in, make friends, and be happy like any other kid at school. But Sasha had made that impossible. As Maya tossed and turned, her frustration grew. She was tired of crying and tired of feeling small. Suddenly, an idea began to form in her mind. She thought about how Sasha always acted like she was better than everyone else. How her group friends followed her lead like she was one kind of a queen. It wasn't fair. Maya knew she wouldn't change Sasha, but maybe she could stand up for herself in a way that could make Sasha think twice about bullying her again. For the first time since she started at Sandale Primary, Maya felt a sense of determination. She wasn't sure exactly how she was going to do it, but one thing she was clear, Sasha wasn't going to win this battle. She decided right then that she was going to get her revenge. The next day, Maya walked into school with a new sense of purpose. She knew that if she wanted to stand up to Sasha, she needed to be strong. She wouldn't let the fear of what others thought to stop her from being herself. As she walked down the hallway, she held her head little higher, refusing to shrink away from the stares of her classmates. When Sasha and her group spotted her, they started whispering and laughing just like they always did. But this time, Maya didn't lower her eyes or hurry past them. Instead, she walked straight ahead, ignoring their mocking voices. It wasn't easy, but Maya felt a small spark of confidence flink inside her. She had taken the first step forward, standing up for herself. Later that day, during lunch, Maya noticed Sasha and her friends sitting at their usual table, gossiping and laughing loudly. Maya clenched her jaw, feeling the hunger bubble up inside her. She thought about how many times they had humiliated her, how they had made her feel worthless. But instead of letting hunger consume her, Maya made a decision. She wasn't going to let them control her anymore. Maya took a deep breath and walked over to an empty table by the window. This time, she didn't care if anyone sat with her. She opened her lunch and began to eat, ignoring the stares from the cross of the room. Sasha and her group were still whispering, but Maya refused to let it get to her. She had bigger plans now. Days passed while Sasha and her friends continued their bullying. Maya remained calm. She watched them carefully, learning their habits and their weaknesses. She noticed how Sasha always craved attention, how she liked being the center of everything. The more people talked about her, the happier she seemed. Maya realized that Sasha's power came from the way others admired her. But Maya also saw something else. Sasha wasn't strong as she seemed. Whenever things didn't go her way, she became frustrated. Maya could see that Sasha's confidence was fragile, like a mask she wore to hide her own insecurities. This gave Maya hope. If Sasha could be hurt by a smallest thing, then Maya knew there was a way she knocked her off her insecurities. Maya didn't know how and when, but she was sure that Sasha would slip up one day. And when that happened, Maya would be ready. Maya's patience finally paid off. One afternoon, during the class, Mrs. Rose asked the students to present the project they have been working on. Each student had to speak in front of the class, explaining what they had learned. Maya watched as Sasha walked up to in front of the room, her usual smug expression in the place. Sasha loved being in the spotlight, and Maya could tell she was enjoying the attention. As Sasha began her presentation, something unexpected happened. She stumbled over her words. For a brief moment, her confidence wavered. She glanced nervously at her friends, who were watching her intently. The class fell silent, and Sasha's face turned red as she struggled to continue. Maya felt a surge of excitement for the first time. Sasha wasn't in control. The cracks in her perfect image were starting to show, and Maya knew this was her chance to strike, but she waited. She wasn't ready to take a move just yet. After class, Sasha's friends tried to cheer him up, but Maya could see the embarrassment in Sasha's eyes. It was a small victory, but it gave Maya a confidence she needed to continue her plans. One day, as Maya was sitting alone in the library, flipping through the pages of the book, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She looked up to see a girl standing in front of her, smiling shyly. Maya recognized her from the class, but she has never spoken to her before. "Hi, I'm Lily," the girl said softly, sitting down across from Maya. "I saw what happened with Sasha the other day. She's really mean to you, isn't she?" Maya was surprised by Lily's kindness. She had gotten too used to being alone that she hasn't expected anyone to approach her yet. "She is," Maya admitted, feeling a lump from her throat, "but I'm okay." Lily shook her head. "No, you're not. You don't deserve to be treated like that. I know how it feels. Sasha used to pick on me too, but I found a way to make it stop. Maya's eyes widened in surprise. Really? How? Lily leaned in closer, her voice barely above the whisper. You have to show her that she's not as powerful as she thinks. I can help you if you want. Maya stared at Lily for a moment, feeling a glimmer of hope. Maybe she didn't have to fight this battle alone. Maybe with Lily's help, she could finally take control of the situation. Okay, Maya said, her voice steady. Let's do it. With Lily by her side, Maya felt stronger than ever. The two girls spent the next few days carefully planning for their strategy. They knew that Sasha's power came from the way everyone admired her, and if they could find a way to expose her weakness, she could lose that power. Lily had already noticed few things about Sasha that could work to their advantage. Sasha hated being embarrassed in front of the others, and she couldn't stand it when things didn't go her way. Maya realized that if they could find a way to push Sasha out of her comfort zone, she might finally crack. One afternoon, during the recess, Maya and Lily put their plan into action. They spread the rumors that Sasha was afraid of spiders, something they had overheard her saying once in passing. The rumors spread like wildfire, and by the end of the day, everyone in school knew about it. When Sasha walked into the class the next morning, she met the whispers and giggles, confused as she glanced around, trying to figure out what was going on. But before she could say anything, one of her friends placed a plastic spider on her desk. Sasha let out a shriek, jumping back in horror. The class erupted into laughter for the first time. Sasha looked completely powerless. Her face turned bright red as she tried to regain her composure, but the damage had already been done. After the spider incident, things started to change at school. Sasha's grip on school began to weaken. Her friends, who had once followed her every move, were now questioning her authority. They still hung with her, but Maya could see that they were not as royal as they had been. Sasha, for her part, was struggling to keep her appearance. She tried to act like nothing changed, but Maya could see the cracks in her confidence. The power that Sasha had once held over the school was slipping away, and Maya couldn't help but feel the sense of satisfaction. But Maya knew this was only the beginning. Sasha had made her life miserable for too long, But Maya knew this was only the beginning. Sasha had made her life miserable for too long, and Maya wasn't ready to forgive her just yet. There was still more to come. The next phase of Maya and Lily's plan was modeling. They knew they had to strike when Sasha least expected, and they decided that the upcoming talent show would be the perfect opportunity. Maya had signed up to perform a dance routine, something she had been bragging about for weeks. She had spent hours rehearsing, confident that her performance would be the highlight of the show. But Maya and Lily had their plans. On the day of the talent show, Maya slipped into the dressing room where Sasha's costume was hanging. She carefully loosened a few threads of the outfit, making sure it would fall apart just the right moment. As Sasha took the stage, the audience clapped and cheered, eager to see her performance. She began her routine with her usual confidence, spinning and trickling across the stage. But as she reached in the middle of her dance, the thread of her costume began to unveil. At first, Sasha didn't notice, but as she continued to dance, the audience gasped in surprise. Sasha looked down and saw her costume falling apart, piece by piece. Her face turned pale with horror as she tried to hold her outfit together. But it was too late. The audience had seen it all. Sasha froze, completely humiliated. She stood in the middle of the stage, unable to move as the laughter grew louder and louder. Tears welled up in her eyes, and without finishing her routine, she ran off the stage, her face buried in her hands. Maya and Lily watched from the crowd, their hearts racing with excitement. They hadn't expected the plan to work so perfectly. Sasha had been completely embarrassed in front of the entire school, and for the first time, it was her who felt small, powerless, and humiliated. The day after the talent show, the entire school was buzzing with the talk about what happened to Sasha. Everywhere Maya went, students were gossiping about Sasha's costume disaster. Some felt bad for her, but most were laughing about how the queen of the school had finally been knocked down. Sasha didn't show up to school that day, and Maya couldn't help but feel a mixture of satisfaction and guilt. But the part of her was happy to see Sasha finally experiencing the pain she had caused so many others. But the other part of her was wondering if she had gone too far. Lily, on the other hand, was still excited. "We did it, Maya," she said, giving her friend a high five. Sasha finally got what she deserved. She never going to bother anyone again. Maya smiled, but inside she wasn't sure if she felt victorious as she had expected. She had wanted revenge, but now that she had had it, something felt off. She didn't feel as powerful or as happy as she thought she would be. Few days later, Sasha returned to school, but she wasn't the same confident girl who had always ruled over everyone. She walked through the halls with her head down, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Her friends had distanced themselves from her, and even students who had once admired her now saw her as just another girl. Maya watched Sasha from far, noticing the change in her. The power Sasha had once held over the school was completely gone. She was no longer feared or admired. In fact, most of the students didn't even pay attention to her anymore. At first, Maya thought it was what she wanted, but as days passed, she couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. She had taken away Sasha's power, but now it was gone. Maya realized that she didn't want to become like her. She didn't want to hurt people just because she could. One afternoon, Maya was sitting in the library, lost in thought, when she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Maya." She turned around and she was shocked to see Sasha standing there, looking nervous and unsure of herself. Her eyes were red, as if she had been crying, and her hands were trembling slightly. Maya's first instinct was to stand up and leave, but something in Sasha's expression made her pause. "I just want to say I'm sorry," Sasha said, her voice barely above a whisper, "for everything. I know I've been horrible to you, and I don't know why I did it. I guess I just wanted to feel important, but I ended up hurting people. I'm really sorry." Maya stared at Sasha, her mind racing. This was the last thing she had expected. Sasha, the girl who had made her life miserable, was standing in front of her, apologizing. For a moment, Maya didn't know what to say. Part of her still felt hungry, but another part of her felt something else, sympathy. "I don't know if I can forgive you," Maya said honestly, her voice shaking. "You made me feel horrible for a long time." "I understand," Sasha replied, tears welling up in her eyes again. "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I just wanted you to know that I'm really, truly sorry." Maya was silent for a long moment, then finally nodded. "Thank you for apologizing." Sasha gave a small, sad smile before turning and walking away. That night, as Maya laid in her bed, she thought about Sasha's apology. It had taken her by surprise, and now she didn't know how to feel. She had spent so long wanting to get back to Sasha, but now that Sasha had apologized, Maya wasn't sure of what to do with her anger. As she stared up at the ceiling, Maya realized that revenge hadn't made her feel better. In fact, it had left her feeling empty. She wanted to hurt Sasha the way Sasha had hurt her, but in the end, it hadn't brought her any real happiness. Maya sighed, feeling the weight of everything settle over her. She didn't want to be someone who hurt others, even if they have hurt her first. She didn't want to carry around hunger and bitterness for the rest of her life. The next day, Maya walked into the school feeling different. She no longer felt the need to prove herself to anyone, not even Sasha. She had realized something important. Her worth didn't depend on what others thought about her. She didn't need to be popular or powerful to be happy. As Maya walked through the walls, she saw Sasha sitting alone at the lunch table. For a moment, she considered ignoring her, but then she remembered Sasha's apology. Taking a deep breath, Maya walked over and sat down across from her. Sasha looked up in surprise, her eyes widened. "Maya, what are you doing?" Maya smiled. "I thought maybe we could talk." Sasha blinked, clearly not expecting this. "About what?" "About everything," Maya said. "I think we both have some things we need to figure out." Maya hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Okay." And so for the first time, Maya and Sasha talked. Not as enemies, but as two girls who were trying to understand each other. It wasn't easy, but it didn't fix everything right away, but it was a start. For the first time, Maya felt like she was taking control of her own story. She didn't need revenge to feel powerful. All she needed was to be true to herself. As weeks passed, Maya and Sasha's relationship began to change. They weren't exactly friends, but there was a mature understanding between them now. Sasha had stopped bullying Maya, and in return, Maya stopped holding on her hunger. One afternoon, as they were walking out of the class together, Sasha turned to Maya and said, "I'm really sorry for everything I did." Maya looked at her, surprised by the sincerity in her voice. For the first time, she realized that Sasha truly meant it. "I know," Maya said softly, "and I forgive you." Sasha's eyes widened in surprise. "Really?" Maya nodded. "Yeah, I don't want to hold on to the past anymore. We can't change what happened, but we can move forward." Maya smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, Maya. That means a lot to me." For the first time, Maya felt a sense of peace. She had let go of her hunger, and in doing so, she had found something more important: understanding and forgiveness. With Sasha no longer tormenting her, Maya began to thrive at Sandalay Primary. She made new friends, got involved in school activities, and for the first time, she felt truly happy. The bullying had once made her feel so small was now a distant memory. As she walked through the school walls, Maya no longer felt the weight of fear and hunger. She had faced her greatest challenge and came out stronger because of it. She had learned that true strength didn't come from revenge or power, but from understanding, forgiveness, and being true to yourself. Maya knew that life wouldn't always be easy, but she was ready to face whatever comes her way. She had learned an important lesson: no one could make her feel small unless she let them. And from now on, Maya was determined to stand tall. With the new school term starting, Maya felt like she had a fresh start. The student who once laughed at her or followed Sasha's lead no longer seemed to care about the past. Maya was no longer the new girl who was bored. She was simple Maya, and that was enough. Sasha, on the other hand, had become much quieter. She still had friends, but her days of being the queen bee were over. Most students had moved on from her, and she seemed content to live a normal life. Maya and Sasha would sometimes exchange smiles in the hallway. And while they weren't close friends, there was a sense of mutual respect between them now. They had both learned from their mistakes, and in doing so, they had grown into a better people. One afternoon, as Maya was sitting outside during lunch, she noticed Lily walking towards her with a smile. Lily had been a big part of helping Maya stand up to Sasha, and their friendship had only grown stronger over the past few months. "Do you mind if I sit here?" Maya asked, setting her lunch tray down next to Maya. "Of course," Maya replied with a smile. She was grateful for Lily's friendship. Without her support, standing up to Sasha might have been impossible. As they ate, they chatted about school and upcoming exams, but eventually their conversation shifted to Sasha. "Have you noticed how Sasha is different now?" Lily asked, glancing across the courtyard when Sasha sat quietly reading a book. "Yeah," Maya nodded. "She's not the same girl who used to be the ruler of a school." "Do you think she has really changed?" Lily asked, her tone cautious. "I mean, I know she apologized, but do you think she's genuine?" Maya thought for a moment, remembering the raw emotion in Sasha's voice when she had said sorry. "I think she has. People can change if they really want to. And maybe she has realized that being mean doesn't make her happy." Lily nodded, though she was still unsure. "I hope so. But it's crazy, isn't it? How everything turned out. I never thought we'd be sitting here talking about forgiving Sasha." "Me neither," Maya agreed with a small laugh. "But I guess that's what happens when you stop holding on hate. You make room for something better." Over the next few weeks, Maya and Sasha's interaction became more frequent. They were still far from being best friends, but there was a sense of cautious, trusting building between them. Sometimes Sasha would join Maya and Lily for lunch, and while it was awkward at first, the more they talked, the more comfortable things became. One afternoon, as they sat together in a school courtyard, Sasha opened up in a way Maya had never expected. "You know," Sasha said quietly, staring down at her hands, "I used to be really scared all the time. Scared that people won't like me. That's why I acted the way I did. I thought if I controlled everything, no one could hurt me." Maya and Lily exchanged surprised glances. They had never considered that Sasha's bullying might have come from a place of fear. "I get it," Maya said softly. "I used to feel scared too, of you. I thought if I stood up for myself, things would get worse." Sasha looked up, her eyes filled with regret. "I'm sorry for making you feel like that. I really am." "It's okay," Maya said after a pause. "We've all made mistakes." For the first time in a long while, Sasha smiled, an honest, relieved smile. It was a small step, but it felt like progress. As the school year came to close, Maya, Lily, and Sasha found themselves spending more time together. It wasn't exactly what they predicted at first, but it worked. Sasha still had a lot to learn about being a good friend, but Maya was patient, and Lily had come around as well. One afternoon, as they sat in the park, Sasha turned to Maya and said, "I've been thinking, maybe I want to run for student council next year, but this time around, I want to do it right. No more controlling people or being mean. I want to actually help people." Maya smiled, feeling proud of the change in Sasha. "I think you'd be great. You've learned a lot, and I bet you could use that to make a real difference." "Yeah," Lily chimed in. "You could show everyone that you've really changed." Sasha beamed, her confidence growing. "Thanks. That means a lot. Maya knew it would take time for Sasha to fully repair her reputation, but she believed in second chance. If Sasha was willing to change, Maya was willing to support her. The following school year, things were completely different. Maya, Lily, and Sasha were now a close-knit group, and while other students were surprised at first, they soon accepted the new dynamic. Sasha ran for student council president, and to everyone's amazement, she won. But this time, she didn't let power go to her head. She worked hard to help other fellow students, organizing events that brought school together and making sure everyone had a voice. Maya watched as Sasha became a leader in a completely new way, not through fear and manipulation, but through kindness and understanding. One day, as they walked down the hall together, Sasha turned to Maya and said, "Thank you for giving me a second chance. I don't think I would have changed if it wasn't for you." Maya smiled, feeling proud of both Sasha and herself. "You did the hard work, Sasha. I just gave you the space to do it." And in that moment, Maya realized that true strength didn't come from being most popular or the most powerful. It came from being kind, forgiving, and willing to help others becoming their best selves. As the school year continued, Maya, Lily, and Sasha became known as the Queen of the Chandelier, not because they ruled over everyone, but because they lifted others up. Maya had found her place not as a girl who sought revenge, but as a girl who chose to be better. And that, she knew, was the greatest victory of all. Years later, as Maya looked back on her time at Chandelier Primary, she smiled at how much had changed. She had learned some of the life's most important lessons during those years, about forgiveness, friendship, and the power of letting go. Sasha had gone on to become a community leader, using her experience to help others who struggled with insecurity and fear. Lily had stayed by Maya's side through it all. Their bond is unbreakable. And Maya, she had grown into a person she had always wanted to, strong, passionate, and true to herself. The bullying, the humiliation, and the struggle had all been part of her journey, but all hadn't defined her. Instead, they had shaped her into someone who could face the world with courage and an open heart. Maya sat in her bedroom, looking through an old yearbook. She smiled at the pictures of herself, Lily, and Sasha, remembering how far they had come. The memories of the difficult times still lingered, but they no longer hurt like they once did. Instead, they served as a reminder of how much she had grown. She ran her fingers over a picture of Sasha, the girl who once made her life so difficult, but who had now become someone she respected. Sasha's transformation had been nothing short of remarkable. The girl who once used fear to control others had become a passionate leader, someone who genuinely cared about the people around her. Maya closed the yearbook and sighed. It was hard to believe that just a year ago she had been the target of the restless bullying, but now everything had changed. Not only she stood up for herself, but she also showed Sasha a better path. The bond between Maya, Lily, and Sasha continued to grow as they entered their final year of primary school. They had become inseparable, each supporting each other through challenges that arose. They had even started a small club dedicated to help other students who felt left out or bored. One afternoon, the three girls sat together in the school garden, working on plans for their next club meeting. "I was thinking we could have Kindness Week," Sasha suggested, her face lighting up with excitement. "We could encourage everyone, to do at least one nice thing for everyone every day. That sounds great idea, Maya agreed. It would show people how much a difference of a little kindness can make. Lily nodded. Yeah, and maybe we could make posters to put up around the school. Something colorful to get everyone's attention. As they talked, Maya couldn't help but feel proud of the changes in Sasha. She wasn't just that she had stopped bullying. She had actively become someone who wanted to make the school a better place. It was a transformation Maya hadn't thought possible when they first met, but now it seemed like the most natural thing in the world. Although Sasha had changed, not everyone in school was quick to forget her past. There were still few students who had grudges against her, unwilling to believe that her transformation was genuine. One day, as the three girls walked through the hallway, they overheard a group of students whispering, "Do you think Sasha has really changed?" One boy sneered. "She's probably waiting for her chance to go back to being bully." "Yeah," another girl agreed. "Once a bully, always a bully." Maya saw the heart flash across Sasha's face, but before she could say anything, Sasha took a deep breath and turned to the group. "I know I made a lot of mistakes in the past," Sasha said, her voice steady. "And I'm sorry for the way I treated people. I can't change what I did, but I'm doing my best to be a better now." The group of students looked surprised by Sasha's honesty. Some of them even seemed to soften, as if they hadn't expected her to own up to her actions so directly. Maya and Lily stood beside Sasha, proud of the way she handled the situation. It wasn't easy to face it, especially when it came from people who hadn't forgiven her yet. But Sasha had shown courage, and that was mattered. As they walked away, Maya squeezed Sasha's hand. "You did great," she said. "Thanks," Sasha replied with a small smile. "It's not always easy, but I know it's worth it." As the end of the year approached, excitement filled the air. Graduation was just around the corner, and the students of Sandale Primary were preparing to say goodbye to their school days. For Maya, Lily, and Sasha, it was a bittersweet time. They were looking forward to what the future held, but they also knew they would miss the memories they had made at Sandale. One afternoon, as the three friends sat together in the courtyard, they talked about their plans for the future. "I'm going to miss this place," Maya admitted, "but I'm excited to see what's next." "Me too," Lily said. "It's going to be weird not to seeing each other every day, though." Sasha nodded. "I'll keep in touch, though, right, no matter where we go." "Definitely," Maya replied with a big smile. "We've been through too much together to let anything break us apart now." The three girls made a promise to each other that day that no matter where life took them, they would always be friends. It was a promise they knew they would keep because the bond they had forged was unbreakable. Graduation day arrived, and Sandale Primary was full of excitement. The students wore their best clothes, their faces glowing with pride and accomplishment. Parents and teachers gathered in the main hall, ready to celebrate the achievements of their children. Maya stood backstage with Lily and Sasha, waiting for their turn to walk across the stage. As they waited, Maya felt a wave of emotion wash over her. It had been a long journey, filled with ups and downs, but she had come out stronger than ever. When her name was called, Maya walked across the stage with her head held high. As she accepted her diploma, she glanced out into the audience and saw her parents blooming with pride. But it wasn't just her family that was thinking about it. It was everything she had learned during this time at school. She had learned to stand up for herself. She had learned to forgive, and perhaps, most importantly, she had learned that people could change if they were given the chance. As Maya walked off the stage, she joined Lily and Sasha, who had already received their diplomas. The three friends embraced, tears of happiness in their eyes. "We did it," Lily whispered, her voice filled with emotions. "Yeah," Sasha agreed, smiling through her tears. "We really did it." As the ceremony came to an end, and the students of Sundale Primary celebrated their graduation, Maya knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of something new, something full of hope, possibilities, and promise for the bright future. And with her friends by her side, Maya was ready to face whatever came next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reaching this far, and I'm so grateful for your love and support upon you watching my videos. I really appreciate that. If you're new to this channel and you've not yet subscribed to my channel, kindly subscribe, share, and give a thumb up to this video. Leave something in the comment section. Just let me know what you've learned in this story.